Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about 12 things I would like to see in F1 2022, ranging from number 1, the thing I would like to see most, down to 12, which is something that would be nice but not necessarily essential. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Number 1, we're going to go straight into it. Formula 3. I think Formula 3 is an amazing category. I always love watching it on TV, and I think just racing against 30 cars on track in the game would be absolutely awesome. And if you've ever watched a Formula 3 race, you would know why it would be a great addition to the game. So yeah, number 1, Formula 3. Number 2, I'm going to say in my team mode, have an option to fill up the grid with the full capacity of 26 cars. So along with your own team, add in 2 other teams as well that you can compete against, and you can almost build up some kind of story around it if if necessary, to beat these 2 other rival teams entering the sport at the same time. I think that would be really cool to see. So yeah, number 2, I think it would be awesome to fill the grid to the full capacity of 26 cars, and yeah, that would just be a nice addition. Number 3, I'm going to say driver academies, and specifically running your own driver academy in my team mode. A lot of these ideas have to do with my team, you'll notice, but yeah, I think that would be a great way to improve the stats of a young driver before you sign them onto your team. Once you've been in F1 for a few seasons, you can start your driver academy. It can just be maybe part of the personnel department, perhaps, or who knows. But or it can be a department of its own that you have to open up at some point. You have to pay a certain amount of money, open up a driver academy facility. But anyway, yeah, I think it would be a great way to improve the stats of a junior driver in Formula 2 or Formula 3, especially with potentially with Formula 3 drivers. It would be a great way to help them through the ranks and have a very handy driver as either maybe a reserve driver if you wanted to go that way, and you could have these drivers as your reserve driver. So when you simulate through a race, they will take over instead of just being simulated as yourself. Maybe that could be a cool little addition as well. But yeah, that is my interpretation of that. I think it would be really cool to have driver academies for all of those things. Number 4, which is kind of another extension of the previous 2 points about filling the grid and with driver academies, you could run a junior team and have your academy drivers in that, much like Red Bull do with AlphaTauri. They got Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda at the moment in AlphaTauri, and then of course their main drivers Verstappen and Perez in the main Red Bull team. It'd be really cool if you could run your own junior team, so you could have your own your main co-driver alongside you, or teammate I should say, not co-driver. And then in your junior team, you could have a Formula 2 driver in there to improve their stats and experience and so on before you sign them for a full season with your own team. Number 5, I'm going to say, I'm not sure how to even explain this one. I'll call it a hard reset to R&D, so that everyone is set back to the same point or a similar point in a certain department, or potentially across the board with R&D. For example, in real life now, heading into the 2022 season, the regulations are totally different, and there's a lot of technology on the car now that will not be applicable in 2022. So it's a bit of a guessing game for all the teams as to what they need to do for next season. And I think it would be very cool to have that dynamic in the game every few seasons to shake things up a bit. Just have a complete reset. It can completely change what the R&D tree looks like, if we can still call it a R&D tree. but yeah, the upgrades can be potentially different. You can have more or less, or yeah, they can affect the car in different ways. I think that would be very, very cool to see. Number 5, I'm going to say national anthems on the podium. Not a hugely important thing, this one, but it would just be a cool thing to have when you win a race. Here your own national anthem would be an awesome little addition to the podium ceremony, which hasn't changed too much in well, for quite a while, let's be honest, other than having the celebrations added recently. I think the national anthems would be a great addition. Number 7, I'm going to say more varied strategies, because heading into any given race weekend, there's really only 2, maybe 3 strategies, sometimes only 1 strategy that everyone uses. It'd be good if there were more variations. If some people started on mediums and maybe some even on hards. You see more or less in real life every round there'll be 1 or 2 people at least who maybe try and start on the hards if they're down the back and they just want to try something different, or maybe they might try and start on the softs and gain some places at the start rather than the mediums, or there's a bunch of variations, and normally it's not the entire field starting on the same compound of tyre. So I think that would be interesting to see both in Formula 1 and in Formula 2. Number 8, I'm going to say manage your teammate's engine in my team mode, because let's be honest, they're not always the most intelligent with that, and I think it would be just a nice little addition as the owner driver of the team. If you could manage your teammate's engine, you could probably do a better job than what they do. Number 9, and this one's a bit of an unlikely one, but I'm going to say it anyway. Build our own engines in my team mode. I think again, similar to driver academies, once you get a few seasons in, it would be a sort of a good additional project, I suppose. And again, you could supply a junior team with your own engines, again, sort of like Red Bull will be doing with AlphaTauri as of next year. So I think that would be a great little addition to the game, and I don't think it'd be too hard to implement. Realistically, they'll need a new engine sound, obviously, and a new just a new engine altogether, I suppose, but I don't think that would be a particularly difficult thing to implement. But yeah, I think that would be a very cool thing to have nonetheless, and a cool additional project. Once you've already won a world championship and got a bunch of money, that'd be a nice thing to take on. Number 10, fairly simple one. I want to say we should be able to spectate the race, even in career mode, after crashing the car or having a DNF with a mechanical failure, especially with the mechanical failures now. And there's an increased chance of DNFing from a career mode or my team race. So I think it would be good to be able to spectate the rest of the race and see how it plays out, and see, we can follow along with our teammate, and I don't know, maybe we could potentially influence their race in some way. That might be a bit of a stretch, but yeah, I think it would be great to be able to do that and to be able to see what happens, because actually watching the cars on track rather than just simulating the race to the end, we know that would yield a different result, because when the race is simulated, it doesn't simulate the mistakes and mechanical failures and so on for everyone else. So I think being able to spectate the rest of the race, and just as a content creator as well as just a player, would be quite fun. Number 11, or should I say a return of classic cars, and a return of more classic cars. I think it would be awesome to have some things from the 50s and 60s. We had, from I think the earliest we had in the past games was 1972, stretching all the way until as recently as 2010. But I think having some older ones would be awesome as well. Like I say, going back to the very earliest ones, the Alfa Romeo that won the championship in 1950, at the hands of Giuseppe Farina would be a cool addition to the game. I mean, if there's going to be classic cars, it'd be awesome to have the very first. But yeah, I think that would be a welcome return if they did. And number 12, by extension of number 11, this is a bit of a silly one, but one I would very much appreciate, is multi-class races, and especially if they add Formula 3 and the classic cars, but if not, even just with the F1 and the F2 cars, I think it would be quite funny just to see them on the same track, and you know, doing a full-length Grand Prix, and then you know, having to dodge around all the Formula 2 cars mid-race. Maybe it's a bit silly, but I think that'd be quite fun. But anyway, other than that, then, that is the ideas I've come up with for F1 2022. Not sure how many of these are going to make it into the game, but I guess we'll find out in due course. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you want to see in F1 2022, whether it's crazy or not. And other than that, I will see you later.